All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Modernization webinar. I'm Susan Hayer, your host and digital modernization expert. A couple of housekeeping items. Please put any questions in the Q&A section below. We'll try to find answers, or sorry, not find answers. We will try and answer your questions, but if time does not allot, we will follow up with you via email. Our theme today is the Olympics. So just as the athletes prepare for the world stage of the 2024 Paris Olympics, we will help everyone prepare for the digital modernization journey. Today, we'll share some training secrets, navigating you through your modernization journey. So we've got a great lineup of coaches, each a specialist in digital modernization. Together, we'll give you a behind the scenes look at the results driven leadership, the mastery of change management, the finesse of process improvement, and the artistry of data management. Let's not forget leveraging technology. All of these pillars bind together. Get ready to carry that torch through your organization. So the stage is set. Let's meet our lineup. There's my music. Wouldn't come on a second ago. But join me in welcoming our coaches, Fauzi Shafaradi, our process improvement expert, Gabriela Guzman, our results-driven specialist, Miles Daniel, our change management specialist, Peter Myers, our data readiness and AI leader, and me, Susan Hare, your host and overall digital modernization leader. Take a few minutes to share a couple of insights about yourselves. Fauzi, I want to apologize. I think I goofed up on your last name. Why don't you get us started there?
Not a problem. Good morning. I am Fauzi Shashpadi, and I have over 20 years of experience in streamlining operation to achieve peak performance. I've been instrumental in helping organizations overcome inefficiencies, resulting in productivity gain and cost saving.
Okay, I'll go next. Hi, I'm Gabriela Guzman. With over 5 years of experience in project management, I've developed a strong foundation in shared leadership, governance, and accountability. So I'm super excited to share how these principles can be effectively applied to align teamwork and support your digital modernization journey.
Great.
Hi, everyone. My name is Miles Daniel, and I'm here to guide you through what's my current specialty, and that is the world of change management. And like any Olympic event, the path to success in change management requires strategy, resilience, and teamwork.
Hey everybody, I'm Peter Myers. I specialize in data readiness as well as artificial intelligence here at MSS BTA. I have over 25 years experience in strategy, marketing, and operations and technology. I'm going to focus today on helping you see how to transform your organization, and that's through the strategic use of data and artificial intelligence.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm so excited. All right. Well, before we get started, there are three main points I want everyone to remember as we go through this project or presentation. So, my apologies. So the first point being beyond just going live with new technologies, think of it as athletes who incorporate daily training into their routines. Your new technology should seamlessly integrate into your business processes. That being said, it's about aligning people, process, and technology. So your successful digital modernization journey hinges on user adoption as well. So user adoption is the right training, support, and motivation to ensure that the technology is leveraged effectively. Another key point is going to be the improved outcomes. These will be the 5 pillars for us. The first one is near and dear to my heart, results-driven leadership. That'll transform your vision into reality by setting clear goals, accountability, and continuously measuring progress. The second one here will be effective change management, which hinges on people readiness, ensuring your teams are not only prepared, but also motivated to embrace and lead change initiatives. The third one here, and I know it's near and dear to Peter's heart because I hear about it all the time, which is data readiness. It's critical for business agility, providing foundation for informed decision-making and enabling data-driven responses. Process improvement is going to be another key one, and I know Fauzi's going to touch on that a lot for us today. It's essential for operational excellence. streamlining workflows and enhancing efficiency, reducing costs, and delivering value to your customers. Want to stop here real quick. These 4 pillars do not stand alone, but they are the key ones, and these are the ones you want to pay attention to as the beneficiary and the client. These are really important for you to have the knowledge in to be able to transform your organization or modernize it. The last pillar, but not least, is leveraging technology, and it's really essential. That's what's going to enable your business to automate their processes, enhance your capabilities, and stay competitive in that marketplace. So let's make sure that we remember these 5 pillars throughout the presentation. The last bullet here that we want you to remember is evaluating those internal capabilities. You want to understand your internal capabilities, your experience, and your capacity to identify the strengths, addressing gaps, strategically leveraging those resources to achieve your goals. I want to reach out to everyone. So thoughts on this, coaches?
Yeah, to sum it up, effective leadership and strategic resource management are essential for organizational success.
Yeah, and I'd just add one thing to that, which would be ensuring readiness. And whether we're talking about people, data, or internal capabilities, it all helps drive operational excellence.
Yeah, I know how close you are to the people side of things there. Miles, anything from you, Peter? What are your thoughts?
I think the combination here in this model is exactly the right way to look at success. That is through the eyes of the client. And how does the client look at that through this lens? And this is a great model to help us get there.
Yeah, I mean, great points there, Peter. I mean, these are really some key elements. So we're going to dive right into it. I think we should talk about digital modernization versus digital transformation first. I know that these terms are used interchangeably out in the world, but I think just kind of explaining the slight differences might actually help our audience out today.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and break that down. So
Thanks.
yeah, of course, digital refers to technology like the software we use daily, Microsoft Office, Google Suite, to much more complex systems. Modernization, this means keeping tools up to date, secure, and ready for new improvements. A digital modernization is about adopting new tools, infrastructure, and technology to make our work easier and more efficient. So this involves upgrading old systems, automating manual tasks, and integrating digital solutions into current workflows. And then on the other hand, digital transformation goes a step further by reinventing business models, processes, and customer experiences. So a really good example is Netflix. They started as a DVD rental service, but saw an opportunity to transform their business by moving to online streaming. And so this shift involved building cutting edge streaming infrastructure and using data analytics to personalize user content, which anyone who watches Netflix here, I'm sure definitely appreciates. Digital transformation is about fundamentally changing how a company operates, interacts with customers, and delivers value, right? So driving significant changes in the organization's overall culture, mindset, and capabilities.
Yeah, I completely agree, Gabriella. When we're talking about modernizing, the focus is more on incremental changes and optimizing the existing infrastructure and taking a more tactical approach. When we're talking about transformation, it's more like fundamental shifts in strategy and operations. And often that requires a more holistic and a visionary approach.
Oh my gosh. And your example about Netflix, it really touched my heart there, Gabriella. So I agree. Thank you both for sharing your feedback on digital modernization, digital transformation. We can't go through the entire presentation and not talk about AI. And I'm just hoping we can get some info on why AI should be considered throughout your modernization and transformation journeys.
Yeah, that's great, Susan. I'll take that one. I think there was a really strong points earlier by Gabriella and Miles. In digital modernization, think about AI as a way to enhance the operation. There's really sort of four sort of key ways that's done. First one is something called predictive analytics, which is really a fancy way of saying forecasting trends and streamlining strategic decision making. NLP, or natural language processing, is a really great tool. It's really used to automate document processing and improve interactions. Machine learning is probably familiar to a lot of folks on the call today. That's really about optimizing processes and determining predictive maintenance, really important. And the last one here under DM that I really think is important is recommendation systems. That's really to personalize user experiences and optimize content delivery. It's great for marketing and outbound communication. On digital transformation, AI also offers some incredibly useful functionality. So that includes automating processes and tasks. So that's really done under sort of an intelligence process automation approach. It's great at tailoring recommendations and interactions. That's really done through a personalized customer experience approach. And I don't think you can really talk about AI without talking about innovation. And really, when you're talking about innovation, put that into sort of three buckets. The first one is identifying opportunities. Next one is how quickly you can iterate. So rapid iteration is really the kind of the goal with AI. And then look at overall improvement. All those are super important and effective ways of looking at AI through this lens.
Yeah, I often hear everyone say, I need an AI strategy. I need an AI strategy, but should really be using AI as a tool, right? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the way that we look at it, and it's a very strong part of our point of view, and that is that everyone needs a business strategy. And then when you look at your business strategy, how can you overlay AI into it to help you achieve the outcomes you're trying to accomplish? The frame there on artificial intelligence is that it has tremendous application, but you want to make sure you're starting with that end in mind. What is the success you're trying to do, and how can AI help you? And in these specific categories that may have been in the areas of automating tasks or going through some sort of work structure to help deliver information in a little bit better capacity. It's a growing and evolving field, but it's very important to start with the business strategy first, and then look at what you want to try to accomplish from an AI perspective.
That makes total sense. Thank you so much for sharing those insights with us, Peter. So in a nutshell, I just want to recap on what we heard here for digital modernization was that it's updating your current systems and technologies, while transformation is taking on that bigger approach and reshaping your entire business, processes, and customer experiences. So now that we understand the slight differences, let's move on and discuss the 5 pillars to digital modernization, digital transformation success. So these pillars are truly essential, and they build a strong foundation, I apologize, to ensuring long-term success. So I'm going to reach out to all of you. What is one key pillar we should be looking into?
I take the first one. One pillar that definitely come to mind is processes. Processes are really the backbone of any organization.
Yeah, it's a good one. Another crucial pillar of successful organization is definitely results-driven leadership.
Thank you for that. All right. And another one I feel is leveraging technology. It's a key one that's going to align your digital tools to strategic goals.
Yeah, and Susan, I think you know where I'm going with this one, but
Oh,
I'm
goodness.
gonna say people.
Yes.
People are at the heart of any successful modernization.
Yep.
Well, as long as we're talking about favorite things, I'm going to talk about data.
Of course.
And data readiness it's all about ensuring data quality, accessibility, and governance, but it's a really important pillar within these 5.
Great points. I feel that all of these are really important throughout your transformation journey or modernization journey. What are your all thoughts?
Definitely.
For sure. You need to balance these 5 pillars to achieve improved outcome. Let us take you through each of these pillars.
Great point there, Fauzi. Before I move into getting more detail, Peter, did you have any final remarks here?
We look at models and lenses. We've talked about that a little bit in this presentation already, and this is a great way for us to look at these 5 pillars really coming together to sort of create a sum for us and a way for us to truly look at how we can modernize for success. And again, so much of this conversation from our perspective is beginning with that end in mind, and everyone's end is trying to, create some sort of great outcome or some success. And these are things that can help drive that.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, let's see. Oops.
Whoa, you got quite a lot of information here, Susan. I'm starting to see this balancing act that Fauzi's referring to. So what should we really be taking away from this?
Well, the first thing you should take away is don't read the slide. We're going to go through each pillar in more detail. I really wanted to put this up, Miles. I knew you were going to have a reaction to that, like, too much information, break it down. So one key thing that I want everyone to remember as we're going through each pillar is going to be the quality and AI. You want to think about them right at the beginning of your project. So they build a stronger and more efficient solution for you if you're thinking about them throughout your journey. So each of the coaches, I'm hoping you're ready. We're going to walk everyone through each step. So I think we'll kick it off with results driven leadership.
Hey, this is exciting, just like the real thing. A training for the win. Let's break down what makes up results-driven leadership. So first off, leadership. Great leadership means setting clear goals, inspiring your team, and driving results by keeping everyone accountable and always striving to improve, right? And then we have governance. A strong governance ensures that all processes are transparent, decisions are accountable, and organizational activities align with strategic goals. And then finally, we have accountability. Accountability drives success by ensuring everyone owns their actions, leading to higher performance, trust, and a culture of excellence within the team. So let me share an example to show how all of this comes together. In a project I was involved in, we started off by setting a clear vision, which helped streamline government operations. This made services more efficient and beneficial for everyone on the team because we knew exactly what we were aiming for. We also had strong governance, which was key in organizing different departments. We kept everyone on the same page by defining everyone's roles and ensuring they understood their responsibilities. This made our operations run smoothly and helped us resolve issues quickly because there was no confusion about who was doing what. So that was really important. Accountability was another big piece of the puzzle. We had regular reviews and performance checks to make sure we stayed on track, hit our milestones, and deliver the results we promised. So this really helped maintain high standards, and it kept the project progressing as planned.
Thank you for that. I saw that you lost your thought there in the middle. It's like trying to keep all the projects straight. Like, wait, which project was I talking about? What point did I want to make?
That's why it's important to break this down,
Exactly. Thank you so much for that, Gabriella. Appreciate that. Let's jump right into, and I know Miles is going to jump on this, but this is going to be people readiness.
All right.
So I know that you've got three. I know you're like ready. You're
I'm getting
ready.
excited. Sorry.
I know you're going to walk us through three key elements, which are going to be change impact, change readiness, and adoption of usage. I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, so let's start with change impact. And understanding the impact of the change is really key. It's going to help us spot any potential challenges, but also any potential opportunities. We want to make those transitions really smooth and ensure that our projects succeed, really. And by anticipating these impacts, we can proactively address any issues and maximize the positive outcomes. So secondly, we have change readiness. And being ready for your change means your organization is prepared, adaptable, and able to make any transitions really smoothly and effectively. When you're considered change ready, you'll be able to handle any challenges and take advantage of any new opportunities, like I mentioned. And those are the things that really ensure ongoing success. And finally, we have adoption and usage. And getting everyone to adopt and use the new systems really is crucial because you want to make sure that the technology is fully leveraged, right? And when the whole team is on board and actually using these new tools, we can really see that progress and ultimately achieve better outcomes overall. I do want to share a quick example as well. I worked on a recent project with the Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission, bit of a mouthful, but it was really important to see how the initial changes affected the operational efficiency. And then from there, we were able to make any necessary adjustments in order to really improve the process. And that approach helped us ensure that the changes ultimately met those goals and really delivered the best possible results.
Yeah, no, excellent points here, Miles. I almost forgot your name. Sorry about that. But that last key point, the adoption and usage, I mean, if you do not adopt and leverage this new system that you've put in because your team hasn't, bought in, your processes aren't aligned, then you've spent a massive amount of money and you're not using it at all. So excellent points there. And it also actually reminds me, my friend Dan from Epicor, I think he's on today, but I want to thank him because he recommended a book, How Big Things Get Done. And I actually read it while I was on the plane to one of the conferences. And one key principle that came out of everything that you're telling us here right now, Miles, was think slow and act fast. So in that book, they talked about Olympic planners investing a lot of time on preparing for the Olympics and planning and figuring out their moves. The same goes for managing people through change. Like you've got to plan thoroughly, you've got to communicate effectively, and then you've got to execute that transition smoothly. So thank you so much for that. And with that said, we're going to run over and learn more about, that's right, data readiness. Oops.
I know this is the slide that everyone wants to talk about in
The
as much
only
as
one, Peter, the only one.
this is the rest of the presentation will be focused just on this one point. No, guys, data readiness is an incredibly important aspect of what we were talking about earlier. It can really be sort of put into three different swim lanes here, sort of using our metaphor on screen. That's data infrastructure, data governance, and data process. And when we unpack each one of those, so we'll start with data infrastructure. And this is really all about establishing the foundational elements of digital modernization. And why do you do that? Well, you do that to ensure that you've got the necessary hardware, software, and network resources in place to be able to support the data initiatives that you're trying to accomplish. This gives you a real solid base for subsequent phases of modernization in the future as well. And just like in any relay, you have a strong foundation here is essential for the success of the entire race. I won't hit this metaphor too hard, but that's one more. As far as data governance, think about this in terms of managing and organizing the relay team. So the importance of clear roles, responsibilities, and policies are just fundamentally important for data management and data governance. So effective data governance really comes down to ensuring that you've got data quality, security, and compliance in place. Make sure that you have enabled the team to make informed decisions and handle any of those sort of data related challenges smoothly. Smooth is really the key word with data governance. The reason you do it and the reason why you create good governance is to keep everything running smoothly, just like you would in this example on screen. Last up, let's hit data process. That really comes down to streamlining operations. And think about that, streamlining operations within a digital modernization perspective. So that involves optimizing the data collection, the storage, and the analysis procedures to basically enhance the efficiency and accuracy of the data. And then as you continue to refine your data processes, the organization will continue to be more and more effective. This will help drive performance, maintain high standards, and really achieve that sort of success that we've been talking about, not just initially, but in a sustained manner. So, as the organization continually improves its data processes, it needs to do that to stay competitive and to achieve its goals. And that's really the way that we sort of look at data readiness is through these three elements: this data infrastructure, data governance, and data process.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and they're so important. With change, we start right at the beginning of a project or maybe even before. What are your thoughts on data readiness and how should we equip our listeners?
It is almost fundamentally impossible to do a digital modernization without looking at the data. You want to look at it early, you want to look at it, throughout the process as well, but having it in a place in a clean, organized, ready to go portion in the beginning, truly ready, is an extremely important thing to do for the success of a project. Very difficult to do without the data being right. And Susan, the only other point I would make about it is that I think it's the one that's probably least understood. But it has a foundational importance, just like everything else we're talking about today.
You're absolutely right. It is one that is least understood, but thank you so much for bringing that up. Again, if we've got any questions from the audience, please put them into the Q&A section and we'll make sure Lori's keeping an eye on those and she'll make sure to kind of help us out there. Okay, well, I would like to move on to process improvement. And I know there's some key elements here. I think 3 of them that you want to share with us today, Fauzi. I'm
Yes,
guessing process improvement, process redesign, and analysis. Am I
yes.
the right
I
mark?
want to go, sorry, I want to go over those 3 key points. Process improvement. It's all about smoothing workflow to boost efficiency, cut costs, and deliver better customer value. Then you have the process redesign, involve rethinking and restructuring the workflow to enhance efficiency, reduce waste, and improve overall performance. And then, thanks to Peter and the data readiness, process analysis. I wouldn't be able to do it without the data. That I can tell you. It's all about spotting any inefficiencies and finding area for improvement to make operation run smoother. I give you an example. On the project I worked on, we identified and removed redundant steps in the application process workflow, significantly reducing turnaround time and improving service delivery. All this improvement provide a solid foundation for the additional phase of modernization.
No, those are some really important pieces, Fauzi. I actually was on a project not so long ago that thought about process alignment or improvement, if you will, at the towards the end when they got into actually implementing instead of doing some of that pre-work. I'm sure you've seen a lot of that as well.
And it costs more,
And
way
it
more.
costs way more because that happens. Yes. So think about this, make sure it's the forefront in your brain when you're going through. So, with all of that said, I'd love to kind of walk us through and talk about leveraging technology. It's last, but it's not least. It's one of the key elements required. So, I think I'd like to understand more about software definition, software integration, and data migration when we get into this.
Yes. So the first part, software definition, defining software clearly is key to making sure that the development meets business goals and user needs, leading to a more successful and actual useful product.
Yeah, and secondly, we have system integration. And making sure that all these different systems work together really is essential if you want to actually improve the efficiency and make sure everything keeps running well.
And of course, Peter, making sure data migration goes smoothly is essential for keeping data accurate and minimizing any downtime during the transition.
Yeah, Peter, I feel like we all keep picking on you about data, but any points you want to make here?
Yeah, I was a little jealous there that Fauzi had a chance to talk about data migration. That was actually a really good point, though. That accuracy and minimizing that downtime during that transition is such a painful thing for organizations if it's not done properly. And the trick is to start early and to plan it out properly and understand that data migration, when done through the elements that we're talking about, proper infrastructure, proper process, all those things that sort of fall behind that, the ability to migrate that data successfully will increase the satisfaction of that project dramatically.
I can add, Peter, that I'm working right now on a project where data migration, it's the beginning of the project, and we started now because we know it's essential for the success of that project.
Yeah, right way to go, Fauzi. That's great.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, can this one piece be done in a silo? Because that's what I've seen in my experience. It happens. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think leveraging technology can be done in a silo because it requires collaboration across the teams to ensure everyone benefits and that the actual best results are achieved.
Yeah, I'm with Gabriella here. For technology to be really effective, I think it needs the input from all departments and make sure it actually meets everyone's needs, which will then lead to overall success.
Yeah, guys, I think that's some great clarification there. And we've really got these 5 pillars: this results-driven leadership, got people readiness, we've got data readiness. I can say data readiness again. We have process improvement, and we've got leveraging technology. These are all just so critical to the success for an organization, and I'm really glad we had a chance to talk through all 5 of those in this level of detail.
Thank you guys for all of that. I think with going through this, we've discussed about what we need to do. We have not touched on the element of who can help us get this accomplished. Shall we get into that, Peter? What are your thoughts?
I think that's great.
Okay, we're gonna
Let's
take a
go.
quick photo here. And now we will move on to the roles. All right, so I know I've seen some common roles, and I'm sure everyone knows about them, but let's walk through each of the common roles that we see.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead. Assembling your all-star lineup, client. As a client, you're the team captain, guiding the project towards its strategic goals. So your role is crucial. You need a solid understanding of the project scope and technical details from your partners. So you have to oversee this large-scale project with expertise and ensure every aspect aligns with the overall goals. Project governance is also vital. You need to ensure your resources are ready for the significant task and maintain a framework that holds you and your partners accountable throughout the project's life cycle. So it's like ensuring your team follows training schedules and meets performance standards.
Yeah, and then we have the software vendor. And to use well, let's say the software vendor is kind of like your equipment supplier. And they provide the high quality software, which really is essential for your team's success. And as experts in that software, they can offer support with training and documentation and make sure everyone can actually use the new system really effectively. And their role really is to deliver the tools you need and empower your team to maximize the use of those tools.
What about the system integrator? Think of the system integrator as your technical coach. They set up the software, integrate it with the existing system, and manage the data migration carefully. They conduct systematic testing to ensure everything works smoothly. The software functions seamlessly, and any technical challenges that come up during the integration are handled.
You know what, Miles and Fauzi, you bring up these 2 key elements, which are software vendor and system integrator. They are experts in their space. So the client, Gabriella, as you mentioned, should be experts in that space. So there's a lot to do here. If you're the beneficiary, you're asking for this to happen, there is a lot. So based on this information, I'd like, our listeners to really think about and ask themselves, do I, as the beneficiary, feel I've got the skills to lead this work and ensure the team's success? Peter, you think we can adjust any more questions around this, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we should dig into a few others, because I think we can definitely also look at what someone else can do to assist the client to make sure that this all gets done properly.
Well, then I'll just roll right into that. We're going to ask a few questions, and the ask to the audience is to really ask yourself, internalize these questions. I'm going to ask the team of coaches to kind of help explain each question so that we really understand what it means. So I'm going to kick it off with the first one. Have you defined your strategic objectives? What does that mean?
And of course, we've defined those objectives. It really, really is crucial. And what that means is clearly outlining your goals and plans, which will then ultimately be able to guide your organization or your project towards success. You want to detail exactly what we want to achieve and how we plan to accomplish it.
Awesome. Thank you for that explanation, Miles. All right, so I'm going to roll right into the next one. Are you confident in your ability to lead an initiative of this scale?
Oh, that's such a good question. Yeah, so having the expertise to lead an initiative of this magnitude means possessing the necessary skills, knowledge, and experience to manage and oversee a large-scale project or effort successfully. It involves having a really good understanding of the project scope, requirements, and potential challenges, as well as the ability to make informed decisions and navigate complexities effectively.
Fantastic, great point. You know what? I'm going to throw another one out that's kind of similar, which is, do your resources have time to commit to an undertaking of this magnitude?
So I'll take that one too. So this question is about checking if your team members or resources have the time to fully dive into a big project or task. So it's all about making sure everyone can dedicate enough effort and get the job done well and on time.
Got it. All right, moving on. Can leaders create a technology update budget that spends money wisely and maximizes returns?
That is a good question, and it involves allocating resources strategically to ensure investment align with goals and deliver significant benefits. Leaders prioritize initiatives with high ROI potential, aiming for efficiency gain, competitive advantage, and long-term sustainability.
Oh my gosh, this question is really key. I hope we show them how to do that today. All right, so throwing up one more question. Do you understand everything the system integrator and supplier present to you? What does this mean?
Let me take that one. This question ensures you understand the proposal and technical details for making informed decisions and managing the project effectively.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I think making sure you understand all of that is key. And if you don't understand it, get some help or get someone to provide some oversight on that. I'm going to run into a question, and I know Peter's going to jump all over this for some reason, just because I've got his key word in here, which is, does data-driven decision making have a role in your digital modernization journey?
You know, Susan, I'm really glad you asked this question. Not just because I get a chance to talk about data, but really because I get to talk about using it to make decisions. It is a critical element and very central to anything related to digital modernization strategy. You know, really, when someone is referring to data-driven decision making, what they're really talking about is leveraging data to identify areas for improvement, to monitor progress, like how are things going, and really measures the success of those implemented technologies. As everyone knows on the phone here, implementing technology is very difficult to do. And part of the reason what we really want to focus on today is all these elements to help that be a more successful venture, because typically it isn't. When you're using a data-driven approach, you can look at things to utilize that data far more effectively than just simply a anecdotal decision. You can make informed decisions, you can enhance performance, you can look at future trends, you can even drive that continuous improvement thing that Fauzi always talks about, process improvement. You know, performance data here will help you achieve the peak performance you're looking for. And that's really the key point behind data-driven decision making.
Awesome. Great points there. So since you stated that, I'm going to do a follow-up for you, Peter.
Okay.
How can leaders foster a data-centric culture?
That's a great question too. The first thing we say, it needs to be an intentional process. That this is something that leadership needs to foster. And really what they're fostering is sort of three things right out of the gate. The first one is sort of promoting some sort of data literacy across the organization. People understand the data. Next up, that they encourage the data to be used in strategic decisions. You know, that it's part of the decision-making process and it's something that's used, not just simply something that's on a spreadsheet. Additionally, that there are tools and trainings for the employees so they can effectively analyze and interpret the data. These things are all very fundamentally important. But what they're really all trying to do is kind of create this environment. This environment is that data is valuable, that it's accessible, and that it's useful. It's used in these, you know, as a driver for strategic decisions. And regularly sharing data insights and successes go a long way to sort of reinforce this with the culture. And it also helps everyone understand just exactly how important things are and what the benefits are, but behind being data informed as well as data driven.
I love that. That was a mouthful, but it was all important and value added. But it's important. All of these questions need to be answered. If you answered yes to any of these, you're well on your journey to success. But if you even answered no to even one of these, consider getting some additional help. And I feel like we should kind of show our recommendation. What are your thoughts, Peter?
I think that's a great idea.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring this one up. It's going to be the consulting firm. So, the consulting role oversees and guides you through your digital journey. So, integrating those roles into your strategy for improved business outcomes. So, I like to call it, and I know our CEO likes to call it the risk mitigator role. And it's overall providing you oversight and making sure that your activities alongside of the vendor's activities and being able to hold not only yourself and the vendors accountable. So this is a really important key role. As you can see, we took half of the responsibilities that we feel like those main responsibilities the client has that you see on your screen, those they know how to do. They know their business, they know how to make those decisions. But the consulting firm has done not just one digital modernization. They've done 5 or 6 of them. So, or maybe 10 to 15, who knows? It depends on who you're getting support from. But they're really able to support you through the rest of those key responsibilities. So balancing these roles and resources is crucial throughout the journey. And it's about ensuring who's well suited for what task at what time. So it's just making those decisions. What are your thoughts? Anyone?
Yeah, I agree. Having the consulting role oversee our activities alongside the vendors for oversight is crucial, for managing risk effectively.
No. Thank you for that, Gabriella. Anyone else? Peter? I pick on you a lot, but
Yeah, I
you
like
have
it that you
something to
do.
say.
I like it as you do. I think the good thing about what this shows is it's allowing people to focus on what they're good at. And, ultimately that element of focus and getting modernization, through this, from start to finish, and that finish being the desired goal at the end, that it's accomplishing everything that's trying to do, having that focus on those individual brackets instead of just putting so much just on the client's plate, I think is a really smart approach. And frankly, also allows the client to be more successful.
Got it. Thank you for that. Well, I mean, Peter, I know you agree, and I know the rest of all of you agree that we've discussed the what we need to do. We've talked about who we need to help or who needs to help us do it. Now let's talk about how do we plan on spending our budget to make this all happen.
Yeah, I mean, Susan, typically you'll see here in this graphic, somewhere between 90 and 100% of the budget's allocation goes towards the technology implementation itself, which that heavy of an implementation really leads to some critical areas being neglected.
I totally agree. A lot gets missed, and I think we'll hear more. I believe the next one is people readiness. And I know Miles is going to jump in on this. I have a feeling.
Sorry, guys, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties here, but yes, we came in just.
Oh, I think we lost him. So I'm gonna try and say what Miles would say, which is it's less than 5% is spent on people readiness. It's not enough to even make a proper change, take that in place. Fauzi, do you want to lead us on for process improvement?
Sure. Typically, only about 2.5% of the budget goes toward process alignment. And that's a very small portion. You can't even make a dent in the enhancing process.
Totally agree on that. There is one important one missing. I have a feeling someone's gonna jump in.
Yeah, I'm sad to say I agree. Well, results-driven leadership often doesn't even get considered into the budget, but it's essential. This type of leadership is what ensures, all initiative aspects are aligned and focused on achieving the desired outcomes.
No, I totally agree with you on that results-driven leadership, but I think Peter was gonna say something about data.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I haven't spoken enough about it on this call yet, so I think it probably makes sense to hit it again. Sort of like Fauzi's number, that 2.5% of a budget is sort of somewhat typical on data readiness, and we might be we might be giving that a little bit more than it normally gets. So as an average, that's probably right, but I think it's frequently not looked at in the degree that it needs to be.
No,
So a
absolutely.
very small portion.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these really need to be thought of in advance. So we've got about 6 minutes and I want to, stay true, I believe. Oh no, we've got more time. Sorry, 12 minutes. We've got 12 minutes to go. So we've got enough to cover and then we'll have time for questions at the end. Peter, I'm picking on
Susan.
you again. Help us with our recommendation.
Yeah, so what we would recommend is that you look at about 60 to 70% of the budget should be dedicated to the technology implementation. That's a good focus, and that enables all the technical aspects to sort of be in place, and was also create all the sort of solid foundation for the project success. Without that, the project probably won't quite hit its full potential. So we're feel really good about that 60-70% for the technology implementation. Since I'm on a roll, I'll just keep going. 10% of your budget should go towards that readiness. This is all about creating accurate, well-prepared, clean, ready to be utilized data for that project, and it'll help the operations go much more smoothly, and also help decision making be far more informed later in the process.
No, I totally agree. I mean, these are some key elements, and that 60%, that's all enough to get you through that technology implementation so that you can think about a few other things. So thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
I would say for the process alignment, you need 10% of your budget. It should be allocated. This means ensuring that every step of your project flows smoothly into the next with no disruption. Proper process alignment is crucial for maintaining efficiency and achieving your goals.
It's so important and it really needs to be think about. I feel like 10% is still on the lighter side, but at least 10% we
It's
should
better than
consider.
2.5%.
Yes, great point there.
Yeah, and on my end, realistically, 10 to 15% of your budget should be devoted to people readiness. And that means fully preparing your team for the changes ahead, ensuring that they're trained and ready to adopt the new process and technologies. Proper people readiness is essential for smooth transitions and ultimately a successful project implementation.
Yeah, good point. So I'll add RDL to this one. 10 to 15% of your budget should go into results-driven leadership, just as a safeguard. Just as a skilled coordinator ensures everything runs smoothly by anticipating problems, results-driven leadership in your project ensures that implementation gets done and you achieve your desired outcomes.
That's a great point. And I know you mentioned in the typical recommendation, it's missing. This is really your insurance policy, right, Gabriella? It's really making sure that the individuals that know how to help you get through your modernization journey provide you that guidance and support so that it doesn't all fall on your shoulders.
Yeah, so if we remember the three main components, it was leadership, governance, accountability. We always want to keep those in mind to have those successful outcomes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think, we learned a lot here. I believe this is all value add information for our listeners. So we've talked about what we're trying to accomplish, who should be involved, right sizing the budget. Now, let's see if we've earned any medals. So there were three key takeaways that we discussed on the first slide. I want to give an opportunity here and we'll wait a few minutes. Anyone from the audience want to take a stab in the Q&A section? And Lori, I'm going to look to you to maybe guide us if we got any takers.
I will let you know.
All right. Okay. Peter, what are your thoughts on the value-added information that was given out today? Do you think it's helpful?
Yeah, I think this is, the challenge of going through modernization is large. And, having a structure to look at that and a model and even a team of people with roles and responsibilities defined and expertise, people doing what they're good at, are all things that lead to far better outcomes in the end. And certainly, this does provide us a good framework for looking at that, and also hopefully provide a whole bunch of good information for our audience here today, and a chance to learn a few new things, and also have an opportunity to talk to us more about it later.
Fantastic. Well, we didn't hear anything from Lori, so I think any of our coaches, what would be our first key takeaway?
Yeah, so if memory serves, is it what the success actually looks like?
Absolutely. You get a gold medal there, my friend.
Thank you.
I would say the second one is successful execution in all 5 areas. The 5 pillars.
The
Mhm.
5 pillars. Absolutely. Can't forget those.
Last one, it's internal capabilities, experience, and capacity.
Yes, thank you so much for giving these 3. All 3 of you get gold medals. Going back to that successful execution in all 5 areas, or the 5 pillars, it's results-driven leadership, process improvement, data readiness, people readiness, and
Technology
leveraging
and
technology. That's right. Okay, perfectly. These are all 3 very, very important. They're equally important, so please consider them throughout your journey. I'm going to thank everyone for joining us today at the Elevating Your Digital Game. I'd like to thank our coaches, Fauzi, Gabriella, Miles, and Peter, for their
pleasure.
contributions and their time today. You can find us on LinkedIn and connect with us. So that concludes our webinar today. Any questions from the audience?